welcome to Dicejunkies. We have a very special edition with us. We are interviewing Sarah Elmaleh. Did I pronounce that correctly?
You nailed it. How'd you nail it? No one nails it. That's astonishing.
I looked it up. I watched a couple of interviews and tried to pick it up from there.
Wow, you did your research. I'm impressed. Thanks. Yeah,
that's all I'll actually research, but I've researched that part. I don't want to. My last name is butchered all the time, so I know how it is. Thank you very much for joining us. We've been working on this for a little bit now, but just to give you a little bit of background of Dicejunkies, we're a geek culture talk show. We're very casual. Don't expect any kind of very in-depth, thought-provoking questions. We're very conversational, and as you're about to find out here in a second, Q takes rabbit holes, so just to set your expectations ahead of time.
Great. Rabbit holes are great. That's my specialty.
So one of the questions I have is I wanted to start off with this before we went into the main reason why we actually looked up, which was the Lizzie Carmine role, which we both, I think, is one of the best characters in Gears 5. Mm-hmm. Is it looks like you have a lot of mecha roles between glitch pilots and Call of Duty Black Ops with Silverback in Gears 5 and also as the freelancer in Anthem.
Yeah.
Are you naturally drawn to mecha type roles, or is just kind of something that you found as a niche, or is this just the roles you've actually been getting?
that pattern has never revealed itself to me until this very moment. So I can't consciously say that, yes, I'm drawn to mecha roles. I think they're fun. I mean, they're very cool. You know, I mean, like I'm a living, breathing, hot-blooded human being who thinks mech suits are neat. So, I mean, in that sense, yes. You know, I have no aversion to a badass power suit, I guess is the answer.
Yeah, I've loved mecha games ever since I was playing tabletop back in the 80s with BattleTech. But I was looking at your roles. I was like, she's done a lot of mecha games. So it just seems kind of interesting. We spoke to one of your colleagues last week, Carolyn Seymour. And I was talking to her about her sci-fi experience, and she said that was just the gigs that she's gotten. Yeah. But a lot of yours, I was just curious if it was a similar situation with you, or if you were actually actively seeking out those types of roles. So
I think I do go for a lot of tougher gals, sort of in the mold of a Ripley. So, I mean, if Ripley is one of our earliest ladies in mecha suit type templates, like maybe there's just the correlation there. Maybe she's kind of the missing or the thing that connects those two things. So that's possible.
Oh,
yeah, actually, I have that resin statue in my collection from Aliens Colonial Marines. There was a special edition, and I still have that with her grappling with the Queen.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you asked Q, Aliens is my favorite movie of all time.
Great. Yeah. So, I mean, and who wouldn't want to hang out and punch and yell at aliens in a mech suit? I mean, yeah, of course. Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think the rush of having your powers amplified and packing a real wall up with your cross is like, yeah, of course. Yeah, I can tap into that. Sure. That's a thing.
The evolution of warfare.
Yeah.
Is big, unnecessarily fancy suits.
So with your character's Lizzie, I mean, she's a fan favorite. A lot of my friends have to have a pilot in most of the games that we play. But your acting performance was absolutely hilarious.
Thank you.
How much of Lizzie is scripted versus how much of it is actually Sarah? So I am kind of curious, after watching one of your interviews, it seemed like a lot of it, you had some artistic license with her personality.
Yeah, that's well observed. Yes, I have said that, and I think it's true. I mean, I give immense. Obviously, the writing was hilarious. So basically, it started with a very, very cool character. I was kind of brought on board and explained, what they were looking for. Someone who was cool, who could do justice to this legacy, like this immense family legacy, right? And so I got that, and then for whatever reason, it was just a very like open-minded room that just allowed me to start to play. I think that originally she was going to be maybe a little tougher, a little more terse. Perhaps she's someone who kind of had big, bold, kind of brave action moments, but like wasn't necessarily goofy. And then as that wildness or sort of her like I don't know if I can swear her, like just the fact that she's introduced with an F it. Yeah. The fact that she's introduced with a fuck it inspired me to bring a lot of fuck it energy in all kinds of places in ways where maybe Lizzie herself is surprised by the fuck it that she goes with, as opposed to surprising just other people. She's like, I don't know where that came from, but it's great. So that sounds like was just allowed to happen, which was amazing. It's that not every role or every job is that permissive and kind of open-minded. And so it was just, and then the answer is that the writers, after like enjoying that and taking it and accepting it, they amplified it, especially in the multiplayer. I would get stuff that was silly and in that vein. And then I would do a lot of ad-libbing too, a lot of which made it into the game. So yeah, from there, it just kind of, speaking of rabbit holes, so it just kind of went off on its own energy. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh no, like that's 100%. I mean, it's the multiplayer. Like even to this day, I'll be playing Lizzie, and she'll say something, and I'll just be rolling on the floor because, and this is just to be honest with you, your ad-libbing is really what makes it work because the character feels real. She actually feels like somebody you could see in here, and that's what I missed from the first. That's why I didn't like a lot of the new characters compared to like the trash talk between Marcus and Dom, of the time. That was very appropriate for I grew up in a military family, so I was like, yeah, that's the kind of trash they would talk on the field. And then Lizzie comes out and she just talks like you'd expect a female soldier to talk, and it's just really landed. And I'm just sitting there going like, yeah, most of the jarheads and stuff, like she could definitely run along with any of my uncles and just been right there.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I as someone who doesn't have any military experience, I'm immensely glad to hear that. Because to me, what was important was just that she loved her job. So like any of that, the fact that I was trusting kind of the writing and the situations to sell the fact that she's seeing, war, that she's in war and in combat. But the fact that there was it just seemed very clear to me that she, as part of her family legacy, she just felt excited and thrilled to kind of be doing the family job, which is of course combat and crushing alien skulls. So yeah, but that means a lot. Thank you.
And the scene and spoiler alert, Lizzie dies in the game, but the scene where actually she gets the Hammer of Dawn, it actually made me almost tear up because it really felt like you were struggling for your life in the way that you were portraying that character. And like I said earlier, it made you quit playing the campaign. I've only seen one other person. I can't believe that.
Yeah,
he did.
Oh, no, I still hate JD. I blame him. I've continued blaming him to now.
Yeah.
When people play JD, I talk trash to them online. I still do.
But I've only seen one person quit playing Gears, and that was my wife in Gears 3 when Dom died. Because we bonded over Gears 1, we married over Gears 2.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. No, we're Gearsaholics. I have all the special edition gears. I even have a fabricator hanging on my wall over there, along with the Jack drone. But she quit playing when Dom died, and took her about a month or two to even pick up the controller again. And he hasn't finished the campaign since then. We did the Hive Busters, but he hasn't played the campaign. It's more fun as a player to listen to your interaction as Lizzie when I play Clayton. Because when I'm falling on the ground and go, "Get up, Uncle Clay!" It cracks me up. I actually want to go down again to hear what kind of, because there's so many things that we haven't heard yet, and they're coming in with each operation. Do they bring you back in to record more lines, or are they just holding out on the gamers?
Well, they have to pace. It's like a child. You don't feed them everything all at once, That's gamers aren't children, but they do. I as someone who is a kind of person who plays games and binges hard on them, sometimes I appreciate a little restraint on their part. I probably played Mass Effect 3 like it was a 40-hour work week when it first came out. So, but anyway, So, but no, we did so many more sessions for multiplayer than we did for the single player. I mean, the single player was a handful, and then multiplayer was many. So I don't know. I'm not probably fully up to speed on what I can't personally account for the implementation of every single line in the modes, in the operations, but so they may still have stuff in the bank. I'm not sure. But I can say that it was quite a lot, and I'm sure that they stacked a bunch of it up and have been releasing it drip by drip, because we haven't been back in the studio for a minute now. So, so they probably do have them all stored up. Yeah, but I also love the family interactions. I think those connections are just between those characters are really powerful and fun and important. So I love the Carmine banter. Yeah. Yeah,
we actually we're seeing more rooms in public lobbies saying Carmine's only.
Oh, really?
They run the whole family.
Wow. See, this is fascinating. What I have questions for you all, because like I record the lines, but then I was seeing stuff about the laugh becoming kind of taking on a meme quality, like just like things, the culture like takes and runs and transforms the context of these lines like so dramatically in ways that I have no concept of. So I'm eager for stories of that stuff. So they're doing Carmine only lobbies now.
Oh yeah, there's Carmine only lobbies, and you have to pick one of the 5. And there's Anthony, Benjamin, Clayton, Lizzie, and Gary. So you have to pick one of the 5, and you can't duplicate because they want the interactions.
Right. You're just mining interactions between Carmines.
I mean, why do you think I'm not looking forward to Gary's floor? It's like
the first memory I have of Lizzie is her laugh. And I was like, what's going on? Because
what is that? What just happened?
Like, where's that dorky laugh coming from? I'm like, what the hell? And then I realized it was coming from the pilot.
You didn't know. You were like, what is that? Is that a creature? Who is doing that?
I never equipped the laugh emote. I was always using the animated emotes, and someone started actually going with the sound emotes. And her laugh was the first one I remember hearing. I was like, so where did that laugh originate from? Were you just goofing off, or did they want you to? Oh, okay.
I mean, well, they asked for laughs. They asked for a bunch of laughs, and I mean, just me and my process, my actor process is to make myself laugh in a really forced way, and then that tends to make me laugh in a real way. And so you'll get like, I'll be like, ha ha ha, ha, and it'll just sort of bleed into something that's real. But I am the genius of the engineers and the folks who work on that, who I'm with in this process, is that they tend to catch everything. And it's so smart because I'll ad lib after a line, like I'll just sort of twist it, in a moment just after I've done a take or two, and they'll catch that. So there's a lot of ad libs that happen that way. And I'm 1000% certain that like I did 3 or 4 takes of a normal-ish sounding laugh, and then I came out with this guttural whatever, which is a laugh that I'm sure that if you watch enough interviews of me, you'll hear it. It's a real laugh of mine. I mean, it's not like it's not, it's funny. Which just tells you how I laugh in ways that are incredibly ungainly and almost never useful for any other kind of character, except they just decided it was great for Lizzie, and so God bless. But yeah, I mean, that's just me. That's a me laugh.
It's recognizable now. I mean, it's legendary. You could play that anywhere, and anybody who plays Gears would be like, "That's Lizzie." Like,
Lord, that is wild to me.
There's like 2 people.
Wild.
Yeah, like there's only a couple people that's laugh is that distinct, and she is one of the 2.
That's bananas. Yeah, you can hear like it's all over the place, and sometimes it's quite low, and sometimes it's a shriek. It's just a mess in here. Yeah.
Well, let's be fair and also give you a chance to talk about something that isn't Lizzie. You have done a lot of other roles. Are there any other characters that really, when you were done with them, you just said, wow, that really leapt off the pages, and I really felt like I embodied that character?
I mean, I'm proud of a lot of different roles for a lot of different reasons, and some of which don't have anything to do with me being good, just I really resonate with the project overall, and I think it's effective in the context of the project. But I don't know. I mean, Lizzie was particularly gratifying as a wild swing that feels like very inextricable from me. There was so much of myself that they cultivated and encouraged and that just got used. And so that process of evolving this character in ways that became more and more instinctive and more uninhibited, I think is pretty special, actually. I think I've done a lot of different kinds of characters, some that are more like controlled and imperious, and some are very natural and kind of down to earth and just all kinds of stuff. But there's no one in my catalog so far that is as goofy in a way that is pretty much just has me all over it. Just can't get it. It's just me. It stinks of me. So Lizzie is special in that way. Yeah.
Did I have to ask this too? When I saw Lizzie and I saw your picture of her first time, I just said, yeah, that's Lizzie. Like, did they model her after you, or just, I don't know if it just, I picked up on your so much your personality came through that when I saw you, I said, if Lizzie takes off her helmet, it's Sarah.
That
fun.
Was
my first thought.
I'd be honored.
I mean, immediately I said, wow, like that is exactly what I imagined Lizzie looked like. And I was just like, okay. And
I wonder why. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. It's just a really fit. She's fitter than I am. I mean, that's obvious. She's stronger and leaner than I am, a year into a pandemic. But that's interesting. Yeah, I guess she's Maybe there's that part. She's a little androgynous, maybe, and I tend to be a little I swing both. I can be more femme, but I tend toward androgynous. So yeah, I don't know.
I think it was a confidence because, like, I imagine that Lizzie would just make that face. And when I was on some of your pictures, you're just looking like, yeah, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's Lizzie. And I saw the first picture. I said, no, that's Lizzie. Yeah, like if they do a movie, I'm going to be pissed if they don't think to call
That'd
you
be
up.
fun. Someone pay me to get in that kind of shape. That'd be dope. If I actually say that, and I'm not sure that I'm too lazy for it or not, but it seems like it would probably be cool for 6 months to be that fit. That'd be super fun. Yeah, I don't know. But I honestly feel that like whatever, I can't imagine Lizzie with her helmet off. So it's hard to,
That's true.
You know what I mean? So,
it's a rule.
For all we know, it looks like another helmet. It's just helmets all the way down, like.
I don't think any of the Carmines have ever taken the helmet off.
It is law. It is law.
It's almost like the Mandalorian. It is the way.
It's the way, baby. Yeah.
It wasn't away for long.
Of which, I did see you were a lifelong Star Wars fan. So who's your favorite Star Wars character?
It's funny. Someone else just asked me this and I gave them like 50 million different answers. And we said we were not going to be very like thought provoking and like serious, but like this question is very sacred to me. So I was
good.
Okay. My favorite Star Wars character. All right. I'm going to go with the one that makes the best interview answer because it's like out of left field and it's kind of provocative. I don't think he's probably not my all-time favorite, honestly, but I do think that Captain Nita doesn't get enough love.
Captain Nita.
I don't think he gets enough credit. I think that motherfucker is hilarious. And like, he's so nimble and funny he's so deadpan. Anytime you cut to Nita, it's like a window into an alternate television show that's like a brutal workplace comedy where he's just trying to like stay alive and like keep his fucking job and not get choked out. And he can't show it in his face or he will. And it's just hilarious to me. I think it's so funny. So yeah, I mean, shout out to Captain Nita, I guess.
Oh,
did you see the meme where Darth Vader is dicking around with Nita and the other general? I can't remember his name now.
Yeah.
Or they're raising the thing up and down every time he tries to talk. Vader closes it and back up, and they talk and he closes it.
Oh, the meditation chamber? Yeah.
He just like.
I have seen
or maybe General Veers. Maybe it's Veers. Veers goes and gives reports and stuff.
It may be Veers. I don't think it could be.
Oslo's the one who gets choked out, and Veers manages to stay alive and head up the invasion on Hoth.
Well, Veers drives the AT-AT, so he has to stay around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because whenever I get asked that question, I have an answer.
Yeah, what's your favorite
versus who's my hero?
Okay.
So who's
your favorite?
Luke Skywalker.
Heroes are boring. Oh, okay.
Han Solo's my favorite, and
okay.
You can't see it, but I've got a tattoo on my arm it's Han Solo's gun. And it has the
DL-44. Am I making that up?
Hold it up.
My Star Wars trivia is real rusty.
It's
clipping.
Yeah.
It clips. No. I see the Rebel insignia.
Oh, there must be some. Yeah.
So it has my wife's name, and it has I know, and she has Leia's gun that has my name and says I love you. So Han Solo is clearly my favorite character. Which
my God, Han Solo.
He is the epitome of cool when it comes to Star Wars. When I was a kid, I loved Luke Skywalker. He was the hero.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got older in life, I'm like, Han Solo is actually is a badass.
He is a badass.
Yeah, he really is. And
all right, I'm gonna answer this too.
I cried once, and that was in The Force Awakens when Han Solo dies. Actually, no, I cried twice, and I cried again whenever he came back as a Force ghost in The Rise of Skywalker. You can ask my wife.
I didn't remember that he did that.
I was squeezing her hand and just tears rolling down my face.
Yeah, he's such an icon. He's iconic. He's an icon. Oh, yeah.
And the things Harrison Ford has done with that character is different paths than what George Lucas had in mind, which is similar, I guess, to what with Lizzie, with what the coalition had in mind for Lizzie. You took it down, your path and made it your own. So, and we appreciate that. Actually, we were talking about Squadrons. It looked like it's about to come to Game Pass, I think, on the 18th. And
that's exciting.
Yeah, because one of my twins says when I go dark side, he wants to go dark side with me. So I'll probably end up playing the TIE pilots, but you do the female TIE pilot voice, if I'm not correct.
I do. Yeah, it's an Imperial pilot, and it's actually very much modeled after. Speaking of Mandalorians, we went within. This is before the show came out, and so we didn't know that Mandalorians could kind of look and sound like anything. So all I knew was famous, at the time, the most famous Mandalorian, Boba and Jango. So I yoinked their accent as best I could. but yeah, it's super, super fun. I love that character. It was really like, that was much more, a lot less unhinged. That was much more like dead faithful to this thing, as much as we could be. Clint Eastwood in space, like just gritty, focused, deadly. Style. So yeah, that's Specialist A.
Yeah, I'm glad they brought Tamora Morrison back to play Boba Fett, the older Boba Fett.
That was fun.
So
well. Sarah, I'm going to cut off Blood Axe because for once I'm not the one that went down the rabbit hole. Like I swear.
Star Wars rabbit hole. I know that could last. You can see. I mean, do you actually? Maybe you can't see. I have all my. Oh no, my Star Wars stuff is not. I have like Carrie is right here. That's one autograph. There's another Carrie autograph. There's the bathroom of Star Wars, which is the Harrison autograph and the Carrie autograph. And then in my booth, there's the Mark Hamill autograph. So I just have, and the Vader helmet. There's a lot of Star Wars around. It's just not right here for some reason. But you can see my Tales of Jabba's Palace and all this stuff over here. Yeah.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
So I always.
But anyway, we're stopping talking about Star Wars. What were you going to say?
I was going to dig in and see, like, okay, so obviously you have quite the resume. You're doing a lot of interesting things. So what's coming up next?
I can never answer that question. I wish I could.
Man,
what's coming up next?
Forget the NDA. Just let it out.
No, I can't. I'll never work again. You don't want that, do you?
No,
if you want me to never work again, I'll tell you. No, it's not true.
No,
I won't, because I would like to work again. What can I say? I really don't think there's anything I can talk about, which is stinky. But some big stuff. Two big things this year, probably, hopefully this year. Who knows? Things get changed, maybe. Yeah. And then I'm also directing more, which is really fun. Cool. So I'm directing on some stuff. I've been doing more consulting for indies. I come out of indie games, actually, which is not always so common for voice actors. They kind of fall into it sideways from animation or something else. But I started in indie games, and I even though I'm union and working on big stuff too, I really still care about the little guy. So I've been doing more consulting for them as well. So I don't think I can. I actually would have to check. I don't know if there's a policy against the director talking about directing on something.
Yes, let's go to safe. I did see that. Like, I follow enough indie games, and even though I didn't immediately recognize it, I'm so used to the format that when our editor pulled up Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, I immediately said indie game. I immediately said that's an indie game. He goes, how did you tell? I go, there's an art, there's a naming convention. You just don't get it, man. You just don't get it.
Yeah. It's like a poem, buddy. Yeah. You feel it in your soul.
I mean, the title's way too long to not be indie.
It's what?
So the title's too long to not be indie. Where the Water Tastes Like Wine.
Yeah, it's like a Fiona Apple album. It's like, it's actually just the first 5 words in something much longer. No, that's not true. But Where the Water Tastes Like Wine was speaking of characters that are, she was very different than everything else I do. She was a lot softer, and older and sort of sad and sweet in ways that I don't actually often play sweet characters. At least for big games, I tend to get pulled in for tougher. I know, right? Like, what is that?
No, that's
what
Rose.
Does that say about me? I'm nice. God damn it. I'm a nice person. But
if you have to say
she's kind of like an aging hippie. She's a real peach. And she's kind of seen she's a little disillusioned. Like, she's been part of a lot of, movements for peace and cooperative living and whatever, and has kind of seen the downfall of them. But she's interesting. Yeah, it was so fun. I love that project. And that was Janneman Nordhagen, who I worked with on Gone Home. So I was very excited to work with him again.
Cool. Well, you said you got 2 big things, so that's at least a hint. Look, I'm gonna try to just get a little bit more. Are they in space?
I'm not going to tell you anything. I can't. I'll jinx it.
Involved?
They'll practically evaporate if I even whisper what they're about.
At least we know it's coming up, so we will be looking. So we'll have our eyes.
Yeah, keep your ears peeled. Keep your ears peeled for a couple things, perhaps. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm excited. I can't wait. It's been a minute. Like games in general take a while to come out. So you often work on them like a year or more before they actually drop. So it's always fun for them to be like, oh my God, it's real. Wow.
Well, and look, I'm going to try this segue. Well, if we did want to know when these came out, where could we find you?
What experienced, seasoned professional interviewers. You can hear a lot of my daily ramblings on Twitter. That's just sort of where I, release all of the most inconsequential thoughts to the universe, as well as the more serious announcements. That's what I keep up to date the most. I'm also on Instagram, but that tends to be more for like travel shots, which obviously aren't happening right now. So that's more like pictures of food and whatever. For game stuff, Twitter for sure. And I tweet a lot about games. I love games. I play games myself. I care very much about this industry as an actor and as someone who has a lot of developer friends and cares very much about the well-being and the kind of creativity and possibility in this space. So if you like game stuff with a sort of industry bent, an artsy, dare I say artsy bent, that's my Twitter. And yeah, you'll certainly see those announcements drop there.
Well, I hope we continue to see you bring characters like this to life. I mean, as I stated, I will confess, because, you know, I don't usually play a lot of female characters, but it isn't because I don't like them. It's just that not a lot of them really always appeal to me. But Lizzie is a wonderful character brought to life. She actually felt like she had a personality. And that really is what made that difference. As I said, now this is great. And when you mentioned it, I'll go like, yeah, she kind of reminds me of like, you know, Sarah Connor and you know, Ripley, these amazing, competent women who they were just badasses. I mean, and good at their jobs, but they also felt like somebody that you could see going through these situations. And that's that real thing. That realism is what I seek more than anything. Just jump off the screen to me and make me think you're a person. And she doesn't feel like she's just out there just saying random things. She feels like she's a Carmine doing her thing, you know? And like she says, I was freaking born for this.
Yeah, right. That's like, there's a couple of touchstone kind of like sayings and things to kind of that orient you, especially when you do voiceover and you're you come in and you don't have a lot of context, and there's a couple of phrases or just a few ideas that you hook into that you use to kind of guide you through this very imaginative process. Actually, for the death scene, that was probably the most I had a full cutscene to watch, and that may be a reason why it felt particularly alive, because I was just reacting to what I was seeing, which isn't always true. So for that, I was just like, oh my God, I'm watching the Hammer of Dawn come closer, and I'm trying to get out of the truck. That was very easy to act. But most of the time, especially for multiplayer, it's just imagination, and it's 2 lines in a row, and you just go. So it becomes all the more important to have like those couple things that you hold on to that you know are true for the character and that always center you. And the fact that she feels like it's her calling, and she tackles it with a lot of energy and enthusiasm and gusto and kind of surprise, and that she's just allowed to be that unhinged is such a blessing. I feel really lucky, really, really lucky.
She fits
One
well
thing
with
about Q specifically is whenever he plays video games or tabletop, he embodies the character. He becomes, he talks smack as the character talks smack. And for him to actually kind of pigeonhole himself into a female role ever is rare. But the fact that when I told him that I reached out to you and you agreed to come on with us, he was geeked out.
I love
we've done, I think, 3 interviews the past 2 weeks, and this was the one he kept asking, when's she coming? When's she coming? When's she coming? So we're very thankful that you were able to spend some time with us this evening. Q, anything else you want to ask Sarah before we cut off here?
Well, as gamers, we have to at least ask you this question, and you're allowed to answer this one. So what are you playing right now?
What am I playing right now? I thought that was coming. Well, I have 2 now VR headsets that I still haven't set up, which is ridiculous. But I set them up. I bought PSVR for Squadrons, so that's on my list. And then I also bought an Oculus for they're doing the Tender Claws, which does a lot of VR stuff, has a VR production, an interactive production of The Tempest. This is now my indie side showing, but like they're basically doing Shakespeare's The Tempest in VR, and people in their VR headsets will interact with the actors and everything. So it's like a fully immersive version of Tempest. It seems like it's just awesome, and I'm so excited. So that, but I'm also playing through Kentucky Route Zero. Why did I just say, I was just listening to a podcast that said Route Zero. I don't say route. I'm from New Jersey. I say route. Kentucky Route Zero. Anyway.
It's route now.
Weird. But Kentucky Route Zero is amazing, and I'm so glad it's finally dropped all of its acts after many, many years. And so I'm finally getting to play through it with a friend. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm playtesting something else I can't talk about. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Our editor was also curious. He must have sniffed it out. He was like, what's you playing right now?
What are we playing? What are we playing, bro? Yeah. I mean, I played so much of Ghost of Tsushima. I played like a lot of Ghost of Tsushima, like so much. I was like seeing haiku in the world out when I went out for a walk. I just like couldn't. I was like just seeing lines of poetry come, So yeah, I played tons and tons of that, and I played through Miles Morales, Spider-Man Miles Morales, which I love that series to pieces. So
using Miles Morales fans, me and the boys, we preferred the Into the Spider-Verse, but I mean, we still love the character. But like, that was the first thing the boys said when they saw it. They're like, "That's not Miles Morales," and I was like, "They're doing a thing." But they love that movie. We all went together. They listened to the soundtrack.
Great. Movie's amazing. Oh yeah. And the sound. Oh yeah. Oh, so good. As someone who's loved, and I have to say, I must confess, I'm not like a comics geek per se. Even though I've like dabbled, I've seen I've read like short series of things every now and then. But as far as like, cinematic Spider-Man, he's my fave. And so as a huge Spider-Man fan, I was like, I thought this is in the top handful of Spider-Man movies. So yeah, that was fun. And it was a huge personal honor to get beat up by Spider-Man. That was really, really fun. So, big deal for me. Mm-hmm. Very big deal.
I will see if I can look into your advice, because we were talking about it before you came on. We were saying that he's into that. So Squadron, let me try to point the right way. He's a big Squadron fan. So, but I noted that Angry Joe, I watched the show, and he was talking about the VR, how much he loved the VR. If I was going to do VR, it would be for a vehicle game, because I'm worried about motion sickness in any other scenario, but I may have to give it a try. I mean, our editor has an Oculus, I think.
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference in terms of looking around. Your field of vision, it feels less, I think, dissonant being in a cockpit and being able to look around and controlling it. For some reason, I think my understanding is based on how it's arranged and just the nature of the gameplay is that it shouldn't make you sick, but I don't know. We'll find out. I have to do it. I say this as someone who hasn't booted up my system yet, so I got to do it.
Oh, the vehicle, you're in a frame, so there's not as much. But like when you play like those first-person games, VR, like I used to hate the blur. Like that do get me.
Yeah, solving for movement in VR has been kind of like an industry challenge for a minute, I think, and that we're figuring out. But yeah.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to seeing these hidden projects coming up.
They'll be big when they drop eventually, if I'm still in them, which is not guaranteed.
You'll be in them.
But yes,
well, if we knew what they were, we could say something. We could go out and get a petition. No, I'm kidding. I'm getting told off by my editor now for trying to get forbidden info. Well, I'll let Mr. Bloodaxe close it out, since he was able to get us this wonderful interview, which I'm still very appreciative of. Thanks, Bloodaxe.
Oh, no problem. Absolutely. And again, I'm very thankful that Sarah was able to spend some time with us this evening. We're looking forward to playing some more Lizzie probably tomorrow, most likely.
Oh, how delightful. I love it.
But yes, you're very lovely to talk to, and you're very, it was very conversational. And I think that's one of the things that we've gotten known for is we're not going to beat you across the head with 5-sentence questions. It's going to be just talk about that. And so I'm glad you were able to spend some time with us this evening, and I want to thank everybody for watching. As always, look for Dicejunkies on Twitch. We stream live at 3:30 on Sunday Central Standard Time. You can also find us on YouTube, Instagram, and I also run the Twitter account. So once we get the video up, I'll send you the link. I'll tag you in it, and that way your friends can be able to find it as well. So it's so nice to interact with folks, with fans, I guess, just because we were going to do conventions and things this year, and like that went away obviously last year. And so I haven't gotten a chance to meet folks who've enjoyed her. And I just feel really tickled and pleased and honored to accompany everybody on their multiplayer adventures. And I'm glad that my ridiculous laugh is a feature, not a bug or whatever. So it's really a treat that people care to spend time with her and to have her as their buddy in this stuff. So thank you for giving me the chance to say hello, and hello to everybody who plays her. Thank you. You're absolutely welcome. And yes, everyone who plays Lizzie has her laugh on default. Nobody plays Lizzie without the laugh. I promise you that. So,
well, now you know what I sound like when something strikes me as whatever that is, whatever I was reacting to myself, I guess. Yeah.
All right, Xena, we'll go and close it out. Again, Sarah, thank you very much. We appreciate your time with us, and maybe we'll have you again after your hidden projects come to light.
Right, sure.
She might be too big for us then, though. See,
if you can hear me in them, you deserve an interview. If you recognize my voice, I'll be impressed.
For sure. Good with voice.
You have a very distinguished voice. That won't be a problem.
All right, cool. It's a bet. Sounds good.
It's on. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Mm-hmm.